Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, welcome. My name is Almayra Lasmi from class 11-8, number 2. And for this video, I'll be explaining my analysis from the movie The Devil Wears Prada. Hope you guys enjoy.
Strike the pose.
There's something strangely haunting about The Devil Wears Prada. On the surface, it's wrapped in the shimmer of fashion. Beautiful clothes, glossy offices, Paris nights, and the intoxicating fantasy of being someone important. But behind that shine, the film carries something heavier. The quiet, almost invisible moment when a person begins to drift away from themselves. Andy Sachs doesn't enter the story as someone lost. She begins as someone whole, grounded, idealistic, almost naive in her belief that talent alone is enough. She doesn't care about status, labels, or the hunger of power. She only wants opportunity. And that's where her transformation starts. Not from vanity, but from ambition. And ambition, when left unexamined, is one of the most transformative forces in the world. The story begins before Andy realizes anything life-changing is happening. She steps into Runway magazine with the simple hope of starting her career in journalism. She's comfortable in her unpolished authenticity, loyal to her partner, her friends, her values. Runway is everything she's not, pristine, intimidating, and demanding. Yet, ironically, this unforgiving world chooses her. The danger here is subtle. Runway never forces her to change. It simply waits for her to do it herself. The shift begins with embarrassment. Andy is told she doesn't fit in, not stylish enough, not dedicated enough, not runway enough, and embarrassment is powerful. It makes change feels necessary. She tells herself each adjustment is harmless. Wear this, work later, do better just for now. These aren't big choices, they're small, practical ones, but real change rarely feels dramatic. It begins quietly. And as Andy grows more competent, she also grows more distant from her friends, her partner, and even her former self. She starts orbiting Miranda with the same mixture of fear and awe everyone else does. This stretch of the film shows that success often demands sacrifices that don't feel like sacrifices until much later. This is the emotional core of the movie. No shouting, no breakdown, just a moment of terrifying clarity. Miranda reveals her betrayal of Nigel, and Andy understands it. She recognizes the cold logic behind it. She sees how ambition can justify cruelty. And what's worse, she sees how she herself is already becoming someone who would make the same choice. Miranda becomes a mirror Andy cannot look away from. The reflection is sharp, hollow, and painfully familiar. Andy's escape isn't dramatic. It's quiet, exhausted, and honest. She chooses herself. Not the successful version, not the admired version, not the powerful version, just herself. Leaving is not a weakness. It's reclamation, a refusal to lose the last piece of who she truly is. By the end, Andy has changed, but not in the way she feared. She's wiser, more self-aware, less willing to trade her soul for a title. Miranda's small smile at the end is one of the most powerful details in the film, almost a silent recognition that Andy did what Miranda herself never had the courage to do. Andy leaves not with prestige, but with integrity, and that is the real triumph. The movie teaches that change is inevitable, but the direction of that change must be chosen consciously. Success has a price. Ambition has a shadow. Approval can be addictive. The world will always offer you opportunities that require small compromises. The question is, how many compromises does it take before you're no longer yourself? Andy's story is a reminder to guard your values, even while growing. Even though the movie isn't religious or Islamic, its core message aligns with several Islamic teachings, such as protecting your identity, amanah over your own soul. Andy nearly forgets who she is. Islam stresses guarding the self, avoiding pride and oppression. Miranda shows how power without humility becomes harmful. Maintaining balance, wasatiyah. Andy's life become unbalanced, something Islam warns against. Choosing integrity over worldly gain. Andy gives up a glamorous future for honesty, a deeply spiritual choice. Sincerity, ikhlas. Returning to who you are is a form of sincerity. If I were Andy, I would probably start the same way. Hopeful, ambitious, thinking I could handle the pressure. That's human, and I might not notice the small compromises either. Most people don't. But I hope I'd recognize the warning signs sooner. The discomfort, the imbalance, the feeling that something inside me is shifting in a direction I don't like. Still, if I reached the same breaking point Andy did in Paris, I believe I would make her choice. Not because I'm strong, but because at some point, honesty becomes more important than success. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from a version of yourself you never intended to become.